Hello and welcome to the Little Miss Sewing Studio. I'm Nicola, I'm the founder of Little Miss Sew and So. If you're not familiar with us, Little Miss Sew and So is an online fabric retailer and subscription specialist. Welcome to Midweek Makes, our brand new weekly vlog, which is going to be viewed every Wednesday here on our YouTube channel. I will be looking at and making a new craft or dressmaking project every week, and this will be either from one of our subscriptions or from one of our patterns in store, or it might be a free downloadable pattern that we have exclusively for you. Our fabrics are delicious, our patterns are delightful. We are going to be offering you every week lots of inspiration, tips, and some real sort of in-depth look at some of our fabrics and what we do as a business, and hopefully that'll be something that will be of interest to you. If it is, if that sounds right up your street, then hit that subscribe button now and you will see us here every Wednesday. So that's all the introductions out of the way. Let's move on with our very first midweek make. So our Fat Quarter Club project is something that we started in January 2020, just a couple of months before the pandemic hit, and back then I didn't have a clue, did any of us have a clue of what was to come. Sewing during the pandemic became massive. More people bought a sewing machine than ever before, and more people got into a new hobby. Our Fat Quarter Club project became a real hub of community for so many people at home, and it's something that I'm most proud of because we brought people together through our Facebook group and through our social media and online community. So today I'm going to introduce the October Fat Quarter Club box through an unboxing, and I'm going to make up the project with you. And just to let you know that this box we currently have on offer as a free gift if you sign up to the Fat Quarter Club before now and Christmas. So the Fat Quarter Club has been a perfect gift over the last couple of years for friends and family into sewing. It might be something that you just want to give a little hint to your loved ones about. If so, then when the Fat Quarter Club is purchased between now and Christmas, this box will be shipped free of charge. So you're going to love it anyway, but like I said, it's going to be shipped out free for anybody that signs up to the Fat Quarter Club. So it's a really great bargain, but it's probably one of our best boxes of the year. So without further ado, let's crack on with the unboxing. So our boxes are unbleached. They're as natural as the packaging can be, and sealed with a paper sticker. Then when we open up, we have our baby blue tissue paper, and obviously sealed with another one of our little stickers. And then opening up the box, we have these beautiful fabrics from Dashwood Studio. Now, every month the boxes will come with a card saying where the collection is from. So today you can see, if you can read it, it says that the collection is called Animal Magic from Dashwood Studio. And then underneath it explains all the notions that are within the box. And this is so that you can keep these cards and know if you wanted to make another of the projects, you know which notions you need to make, and also if you need to know what the fabrics are, you've got that all there, that information. And then you've also got all of our social media hashtags and tag information, so you can share your makes on your Facebook or Instagram. Okay, so we've got a little treat. This one's Werther's Original. So there's usually a couple of little sweeties or something within the box. And then we have the beautiful fabrics. So these are the three, oh, there's the other sweetie. So these are the 3 fat quarters that you receive in your box. And like I said, these fabrics will differ each month. So this one's stunning. I just love the colours and the detail within the feathers of the owls. And I've just got a thing at the moment about aqua blue and orange. I just think those colours together look so pretty. So we've got the owls. And then my favourite is the squirrels. And I think it's my favourite because we have an oak tree at the end of the garden. And the squirrels are so busy at this time of year getting the acorns and storing them. And we've also got a baby squirrel that I keep seeing, so I don't let my dog out because I don't want him barking. So there we go. We've got these gorgeous little squirrels, and then Foxy Loxy. How pretty is he? Okay. So 3 beautiful quality, and these cottons really are lovely quality. We make sure that we use the best quality fabrics that we can within the boxes, and always buy a designer brand. And then underneath we've got the practical things. We've got a piece of fusible fleece, so they've got the wadding, and we've got some interfacing. So this looks like a medium weight interfacing. You can see we've got the glue on the shiny side is the glue. And then we've got the instructions. So I can see that we are making this month a bottle bag. Okay, so we've got a bottle bag. We've got full colour, double-sided instructions. And then finally, we have the pattern. Okay, so on this pattern we can see that we need to trace a couple of pieces. So I'm going to trace the base and also the handle, and then cut out the main. And obviously you've got the cutting instructions. Great, I'm going to get busy then with the cutting. So we have got cut out our main pattern piece. I've traced the handle piece and also traced the base. Now, first of all, the main piece, it tells us on the pattern that we need to cut 2 in the main fabric and 2 in lining fabric. So I've decided to use Foxy Loxy as my main fabric, but I've decided to use some fabric from my stash for the lining fabric. Now, it's entirely up to you how you work these projects. You might want to use all of the fabrics from the box, or maybe make multiple. So I want to make multiple. I know what the notions are that I need to have, and I do have some in my stash. So I'm going to make some more, but I'm going to use lining fabric from my stash to complete this bottle bag. So I have also cut out the 2 interfacing pieces, and I've already fused those to the back of my main pieces. And the fusible interfacing has got the shiny side, which is the glue that gets put towards the wrong side of your fabric. So the shiny side is face down onto the wrong side of your fabric, and use a hot iron. I always use a pressing cloth to make sure nothing melts onto my fabric. And now I've already interfaced. I've got these 2 pieces all ready to go with the interfacing fused on the back. My 2 lining pieces, so that's those done. And I've cut out my 2 handle pieces that I'm doing out of this lining fabric that I found in my stash, and also my base piece. So I managed to squish this on the end of my fat quarter. There was enough room to cut 2 of the main and also 1 of these out. And I have cut out the fusible fleece, and again I've already stuck that to the back of the base piece, and we know which side is the glue because it's got slightly shiny back to it. So that is the glue side, so that goes face down onto the back. Use a hot iron to fuse that fleece to the back of the fabric, making sure you don't get your irons ruined with any glue, because I've done that so many times. Okay, right, we're going to get on. So once you've done that, we're going to move on to the actual sewing. Okay, so we're going to start off by making the handles. So you're going to grab one of your handle pieces, and you're going to put it right sides together along the length, and just finger press it into place. And we're just going to sew along the long edge, not closing up either of the short edges. And we're going to be using a 1 centimetre seam allowance. Okay, so just sew down there. Okay, once you've done that, we need to turn it the right way out. So if you've got a safety pin, then use a safety pin. If, like me, you haven't, so I've got a little trick to show you. I've just doubled over a piece of thread and tied a knot in the bottom. I'm just going to make, just so it doesn't come out, I'm just going to make a couple of little stitches to hold it in place right to the edge there of one side of that piece, and I'm going to drop the needle down the middle. Hopefully it should just drop down without catching, there we go, on any of the fabrics. Once that's dropped down, just gently, we're going to pull one end, and if you haven't sewn it too close to the edge, it won't come away from the fabric. We're just going to gently ease that over, and then with a bit of luck and a bit of pokery, there you go. I start to feel it move now. Sometimes that slightly damp fingers help. Obviously mind your fingers on the needle, don't prick yourself like I have just done. Have you ever done that? Pricked your fingers and then got blood on the fabrics? It's the worst. Okay. I'm obviously making this for a gift for my mum. She won't mind me licking my fingers. Okay, I'm getting there. I just don't want to... There we go. I hope you're all sat on the edge of your seats waiting to see if this turns. I know it does. Eventually, there we go. Ta-da! We did it. So that's if you don't have a safety pin. You can use, I've used a paper clip before, but I don't know, it's a bit of a blunt object. Right, so just snip that out. Snip that off. Okay, so once you've done that, you want to just make sure that seam is in the middle. You're going to give it a press, and then we're going to top stitch. Once you've pressed it, just top stitch a couple of millimeters away from each edge, and that just holds your strap in place. And here's one I made earlier. Here's the other strap. So as you can see, I've got the seam running down the middle of the back. It's all pressed nice and flat, and I've top stitched close to the edge of each side. So I'm going to go and do the same with this piece, and then we will move on to the next step. Right, so we're going to attach the handles. So I'm going to get my handle piece and make sure that the raw edges of each piece are aligned at the top of the bag there. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but my seam is running facing up. So I'm going to just pop a couple of clips either side, just hold it in place. Okay, so that is now where the handle should be placed. So you can see that when it's upright and you've got the outside of the bag, the seam is not to be seen. So there we go. So that is placed just so. And then I'm going to get my lining piece, line it up right sides together. But most importantly, I just want to make sure these raw edges across the top are lined up nicely, because this is where we're going to be sewing. So I'm going to just clip both of those into place. Okay, there we go. So that is ready to sew. I'm using that 1 centimetre seam allowance. I'm just going to sew all the way across the top, and then we're going to trim in to the curves. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, just going to do a little back stitch at the beginning and sew all the way around this top edge. Now what you can do as you sew is, if your needle is in the down position when you take your foot off the presser foot, is just use that needle to pivot around any corners. So I'm just pivoting around that first one that I've come to. making sure I end 1 centimetre away from the edge because that's the seam allowance. Oh, that's a little bit too much. There we go. And then if you find any curves that are a little bit too tight to get around, then just lift it ever so slightly. So I didn't do a really big turn. I didn't lift it all the way up. I just lifted it enough just to manoeuvre my fabric around that curve. Okay, so it just helps create a nice neat curve around the edge there. Right, there's the next corner, so I'm just going to lift and pivot. Just going to go over that handle. And then the last corner there. Okay, so that is all the way across. There you go, you can see I've sewn all the way across. I've pivoted at those corners. I've got a nice neat curve and we're ready to trim. Okay, so once you've done that to both of your bag pieces, you just need to turn it the right way out, just making sure you poke all these little corners and curves out. Give it a really good press and you're going to top stitch just across this section here. So just starting from where one handle is, all the way around the curve and just to the bottom of the other handle. So you're going to do that to both pieces so that everything is nice and pressed flat. And then we're going to open up one of the pieces like so and place the other bag piece, open it out and pop it right sides together on top of the other bag piece. Now you just want to line up the lining here, so this seam between the main bag piece and the lining, just want to line that up and put a little clip or a pin, whichever you prefer to use. I quite like using these clips when making craft projects. Okay. So that's all neatly lined up. You can see where I didn't do a back stitch. It's just starting to come away. Right. You're going to do a row of stitching all the way along one side and all the way along the other side, but we're going to leave a little gap in the lining so that we can turn the bag through. If you're like me and you forget to leave gaps, I always use a couple of pins. So I know that that is going to be one of my start or stop points. So I'm going to leave this gap just here. Okay, so I'm going to sew along there, leave a gap all the way along that side and all the way along that side. So let's go and do that. Right, once you've sewn both your side seams, we're going to attach the lining base piece to the bottom of the lining here. So first thing you want to do is just give it, well, you just want to mark out the quarters of the circle. So I'm going to fold it in half and finger press, sorry, I had a pin in my mouth, finger press it there. And the other half. And pop a little pin there. Okay, I'm going to pin these two edges to the side seams. And then I'm going to do the same just here. And what I might do actually, instead of using a pin, just line those up. So I've got my quarters. I'm just going to give it a little snip so I know that is my marking point. And the same here, just a little snip. Okay, now on my bottom of the lining, I know I've got these two marking points as the side seams. So I'm just going to open this up, match my side seams here. So I know that's a halfway point. And then just here, I'm going to give a little snip. And the same on the other side. Okay, so now I've got those points marked out. I'm going to align my lining piece with the pin. So I've got the circular piece here. I'm aligning that pin with one of the side seams. And I'm going to just pop that pin in place. Same on the other side. So there's my side seam. And there's my pin. So I'm going to align those two halves together. And then this little snip here, which is my, where is it? There's my little snip. I'm going to align it with this little snip just here. So that way I am quartering the lining piece of the base along with the quartering of the lining piece of the bottle bag, pinning those into place. If you did want to put any more pins in, we've now got we've pinned the quarters. We can now, if you want to just do a couple more just to make it easier when sewing together, you can then put the 1/8 marks in, which is halfway between the quarters. When sewing together, you will notice because it's cut on a circle, part of this cutting is on the bias of the fabric, so it will have some give. You can ease these pieces together. You can sort of manipulate the fabric to fit nicely together. There you go. So we're going to sew this together with a 1 cm seam allowance. We're going to do the same with the base of the outer piece. So I've got my wadded piece, my interface piece with fusible wadding. So I'm just going to go away and sew this circle. Okay, so once you've finished your lining circular bottom, we're going to do exactly the same for the outer piece. So you're going to divide it. As you can see, I've pinned it all in place, and you just need to stitch that 1 cm seam allowance all the way around the base. Okay, so ready for the big reveal. We're going to find that little hole that we left in the lining and turn everything the right way out. There we go. So just pull, you might want to shove your hand back in. Where's my hole? There it is. Just push all those seams out. Do the same with the lining there. Okay, we're we're going to give that, you just want to sew that together. So you can either use a slip stitch to sew that together, you know, like a ladder stitch, or just use the sewing machine just to sew that together, because it is the lining. It depends how particular you like to be. I'm quite one for just getting it sewn together, but I think that's because I'm always doing 1,001 things all at once. So I'm just going to sew that little seam together, and I'm going to go and give it all a good press, because once you've given it all a really good press, you can put the lining back in, and there we go, ta-da! It's rather gorgeous gifting bag. Now, don't you think just giving that in itself is going to be a wonderful Christmas gift? So this is perfect for a bottle. So you might want to give a bottle of fizz, a bottle of gin, a bottle of Schlur, or going through all your gifting options. But also you can fill this with anything. I think it would make a really great flower holder or plant holder if you were giving a Christmas gift of flowers, or for anyone, maybe not Christmas, any gift of flowers. But yeah, go give it a good press and sew up that side seam and you've completed it. If you followed this and enjoyed it, and you'd like to make one of these bottle bags yourself, then head over to littlemisssoandsew.co.uk, go to Fat Quarter Club subscriptions, and you'll see the trial boxes, and this is available to order as a trial box. Or if you set up a Fat Quarter Club subscription this side of Christmas, so we're in 2022, just in case anyone's looking at this in 2023, then this is available as a free gift once you sign up for the Fat Quarter Club subscription. If you just enjoy watching the tutorial and enjoy watching how to learn watching how to make something new, then great. Please tune in every week. We're going to be doing a different project every week. It might be dressmaking, it might be a crafty project. Once a month we will do our Fat Quarter Club projects. Next week will be something completely different. But thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and I'll see you back here next Wednesday. Bye.